New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams. NYC.
Yep, what's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Knick Show. Here, give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And the Knicks lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers 119-101. RJ Barrett had a rough game, only gave you 12 points on the night, shot 22% from the field. Garland came into the Garden and had his way with us, 24 points and 13 rebounds. Obi Toppin, though, gave you a career night, giving you 20 points on the night. Quickly showed some signs, but once again, the Knicks fall short in battling these Cavaliers. It just seems like today the Knicks knew that they were eliminated from the play-in, and they played like they had nothing to play for, and that's exactly what we saw. So thank you guys for checking it out in this crazy Saturday afternoon game while we talk about these Knicks versus Cavaliers showdown. And then before we get to the details of the game and the breakdowns and the storylines that's going on with Knicks Nation, please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And I want to salute Knicks Nation and everybody else is watching here with the KOT show. And as always, hit the like button, subscribe button, and hit us with the comments after the game to let us know what you think of the show and what you think of the topics, and just let you know, it'll help us out, help the algorithm. And plus, I like kind of like reading the stuff and interacting with you guys. I definitely read every single comment ever. All right, so salute to you guys here who's rocking with the KOT show. And let's get to it, man. And today was one of those. Listen, man, the Knicks are out of the play-in, and there's certain things you want to see as a fan when the Knicks are out of the play-in. And you want to see the youth play. You want to see the youth fly. You want to see development from our young Knicks, because today is over. So when today is over, as Knicks fans, we want to look towards the future, right? And today, Tom Thibodeau once again, and I'm not surprised, he tries to rob us of even looking to that future for the sake of, I'm not sure. I think he calls it development, but I call it stupidity. And today was another example of that. Today he went with Alec Burks starting at the point guard position. I don't know why he went that way, but he went with Alec Burks starting at the point guard position, even with Randle out, even with Obi Toppin in the starting lineup, knowing that Immanuel Quickley and Obi Toppin have one of the best chemistries in this game, even with McBride out. So it seemed like a layup to me with, these Knicks not making the play-in to play some of these kids or start some of these guys who haven't been getting minutes to see what they have in the higher capacity. But lo and behold, Tom Thibodeau, Tibbs is tipping once again. And he has on his Tibbs colored glasses, and he feels like Alec Burks and these guys are just straight up like Michael Jordan sometimes. And that's what we saw today. But it is what it is at this point. I don't even know what else to say about it. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's one of those things where you just laugh at this point. You just absolutely laugh, because starting IQ was just a layup to me today. It just was. Playing Sims longer minutes is a layup to me. I just don't get it. But that's besides this point, man. I'm gonna get into this game. I'm gonna start off with Obi Toppin. All right, I'm starting off with Obi Toppin, and I'm gonna just keep saying I told you so. I'm gonna just keep saying it. Obi Toppin is the real deal. He just needs to get minutes, and he's getting more and more comfortable. And the progression of Obi Toppin and the attitude of Julius Randle makes me believe more and more that we have to move our Julius Randle at some point and let Obi Toppin keep popping, because Obi, like I mentioned before, had a career high, 20 points, He had 9 of 9 from the free throw line. And he's not a finished product, right? And Julius Randle commands doubles teams, and he does things. But Obi Toppin, once again, and I'm sorry, these percentages are off. I'm sorry. He actually shot 50% from 3. I'm sorry, guys. He shot 50% from 3, 20 points, 4 assists, 1 steal. And once again, he's done his thing. And what I liked about Obi Toppin is the way he's done his thing. He looks very comfortable. Like he has to improve his post game, right? But we saw glimpses of a post move. We also see that he's kind of almost like not a massive improvisation, but he seems like on the fly. He's doing things on the fly. And shout out to Benji who pointed this out. That's beneficial for this team. Not just cutting, but taking it to the rack, cutting to the hole, putting people in the post, putting people in the post. Larry Marketing is a guy that Obi should be cooking. Is a guy who's slow-footed, can't keep up with Obi's speed, can't keep up with Obi's end-to-end speed, and Obi took advantage of that with 20 points. Plus, he's one of our most efficient finishers at the rim. It's one of those guys where when he's going to the rim, he's going to finish. And it's funny because he had one of his more down games at the rim today, but he still finishes with 50% from the field. I'm almost surprised when Obi misses. And once again, looking at his assists, he has 4 assists on the night from your power forward. And Obi's passing instincts are beautiful. We already seen him throw 2 lobs to a center. We saw him throw a lob to Mitchell Robinson a couple of nights ago. We also saw him throw a lob to Jericho Sims. And tonight, he has 4 assists on a night. And I'm just telling you, man, if this kid gets minutes and he starts to get 20 plus minutes a night, Obi is going to be fine. And I know the Randle hive will say Randle might be better than Obi and but I'm rather go with the youthful enthusiasm of Obi Toppin than the attitude of Randle at this point. So I'm rolling with Obi Toppin. Another great game from Obi Toppin. So shout out to Obi Toppin for a career high 20 points and 9 of 9 from the free throw line from Obi Toppin. Shout out to Obi Toppin. Now, also what I want to say is Emmanuel Quickly. Pissed that he didn't start, right? First of all, you're breaking up the dynamic duo in Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly, and that is a crime against humanity in itself. That should not happen. Like, all right, coach, you already made a bad decision in starting Alec Burks at this point in the season. Like, you're trying to develop Alec Burks into the next high profile PG. Bruh. That's already the first, bro, right? Like, the season is over. But on top of that, Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly did not get minutes together on the floor until halfway or almost to the end of the third quarter, which is ridiculous to me. Which is another reason why the coach kind of baffles me, because you already know from before that these two have the best chemistry on the team, and you're going to start one and bench one and not even look to stagger the minutes so both of them have opportunities to play together for longer stretches of time. They happen to play together towards the end by happenstance. That's only because Alec Burks got 5 fouls in the third quarter that they were even able to play together for a longer stretch. If that didn't happen, they wouldn't even play together for a longer stretch, which is ridiculous to me. And not only that, IQ outplayed Alec Burks in the first half, and Alec Burks still had more minutes than IQ. IQ had like 12 minutes in the first half to Alec Burks' 17. And this is not to say Alec Burks played bad, because Alec Burks did not play bad. Alec Burks pretty well, at least in the offense. You know what? Let me rephrase that. Offensively, Alec Burks didn't play bad. Defensively, he was an abomination, and so was R.J. Barrett. And quickly had his moments when he was pretty bad too. But I digress. Like, quickly had 5 assists in the first half alone, and he had less minutes than Alec Burks. I saw quickly do something. I saw quickly have Ryan right next to him calling for the ball, moves Ryan to the other side of the court to clear the defender, to call a pick and roll, to collapse defense, to get Alec Burks an open 3. Like, I'm seeing IQ actually direct traffic. I'm not even seeing Alec Burks calling plays out there on the fly and directing stuff. You know what I'm saying? It just seems so obvious that IQ has more of a command over the team now than Alec Burks does. Yeah, Alec Burks is playing starter. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. And on top of that, you already know Tibbs' excuse for playing Alec Burks. He's a taller guard. He can play switchable defense, and he's here for defense. Garland was taking his cookies all night. Garland was taking it to Alec Burks all night, and not only that, there was instances when Alec Burks, was switchable, and Alec Burks would be switched onto LeVert, and then LeVert would cook him. So even when the scheme was a switch, he got cooked anyway. So it was like there was no. It just seems like, especially today, there was no reason to play Alec Burks. Now listen, Alec Burks had to play minutes today because we had no Grimes today, we had no Cams today, McBride was out. So it is what it is. Alec Burks was going to get minutes regardless. But it just kills me that Tom was still trying to find a way to play him more minutes than usual. Even when things aren't working, and you already know that what it is with Tibbs. That's the biggest reason why Tibbs gets on a lot of people's nerves, and mine as well. And when you look at the overall scope of this team, it's hard. It's hard to evaluate, right? Because you can look at quickly, and you can say definitively that quickly has gotten better from the beginning of this season to the end of the season. He's gotten better as a playmaker. He's gotten better. So you can say Tom has had a pretty good impact on Quickly's game, despite me nitpicking on the minutes that Quickly is getting. Like, you can definitely say that. When it comes to other people like Obi Toppin to me is the biggest casualty of Tom Thibodeau's coaching. And I'll say this before and I'll say it again. Tom Thibodeau to me is a really good teacher. He's going to lay the foundation for these Knicks and teach them how to play proper basketball and get the fundamentals down to a T. He's going to drill that into you. And that's what makes Tom Thibodeau. That's what made him successful. That's what made him one of the 11th most winning coach in the NBA. But at the same time, he does not know when to pass the torch on to the younger kids after he teaches them and let them actually play out. Give examples of what he taught. And that's been the biggest flaw from Tom Thibodeau. And that's all I have to say about that. Crime Against Humanity that Obi Toppin and IQ haven't played together. But all in all, IQ defensively didn't have his best game. Also feel like they kind of froze out Ryan Arcidiacono, who actually played really good defense on Darius Garland. When the Knicks started to make their little comeback, it was because they put Ryan on Darius Garland. And he did a pretty good job. But IQ did a good job of orchestrating for the most part, getting into the paint, getting paint touches, kicking it out to shooters, and found Obi Toppin on a nice alley-oop when they got to play together for the time they did it. So, didn't shoot well today. It's crazy because even with his 7 assists, I still feel like he could have passed the ball a little more. He had 17 field goal attempts. I think that could have been down to like 14 or so. But I still appreciate the paint touches and the way he manipulated the defense and drawing fouls. Even though he's weirdly, the foul line today was crazy. He shot 50% from the foul line today, 2 of 4. He was the number 2 free throw shooter in the NBA, which is kind of weird. But yeah. Shout out to Quickly. That's all I have to say about Quickly. Not the best game, but still 7 assists on the night is pretty good at 29 minutes for the night. One of my main concerns today, and I haven't really talked about this yet so far, has been RJ Barrett and RJ Barrett's defense. And somebody said it on Twitter that I completely agree. First of all, congratulations to RJ Barrett. He set a goal to score 20 points a game, and he's actually reached that goal. I think he's at 4 points or 9 points or something like that per game. Shout out to RJ Barrett, who reached his goal for a season. But with that goal met, I think he kind of let go of the rope on his on the defensive end. I saw a chart the other day, like last week, and it had like illustrated RJ's defensive production, and it was pretty much a straight arrow going down, like pretty much down to hell. RJ's defense was horrible today. Horrible. He can't keep anybody. It seems like he can't keep anybody in front of him anymore. I still Garland's blowing by him. Everybody's blowing by him. The backdoor, him getting beat backdoor has been an issue all season. You hear me talk about that all season with RJ Barrett. But with him, it's kind of been like he's been good. He's been bad off ball at times, but he's been pretty good on ball for the last, I don't know, I feel like 3 weeks or so. He hasn't been good on ball defensively. And I don't know if that's because of increased production, his increased usage. But he needs to get a handle of that, because it's pretty bad. You're looking at the plus minus of the night. RJ Barrett, negative 23, the worst plus minus on the entire team. And that's the defense has a lot to do with it, but also the offense. 4 of 18 is crazy. 22% from the field. Not good. And it's not only that, he's starting to get a little bit too tunnel vision. You know, where he's going to the line, he's drawing 2 to 3 defenders. And those are the times where you lob to Mitch. Those are the times you kick out to shooters. He only had 2 assists on the night. To be honest, I feel like that third quarter when the Cavs was making their push, RJ Barrett and IQ, the 2 guys I really like to run the team more, who I think can make good decisions. I feel like they froze out Ryan, man. Ryan Archidano was playing pretty solid defense. Reward that man for playing. He's been hitting shots. He shot 2 or 3 from the day, 1 or 2 from 3. They were straight up treating my man like Jared Jeffries, like straight up. They were treating that kid like Jared Jeffries, like he didn't have a shot. And he was open for 3 a few times, and they straight up overlooked him and chose to go to the hole and drive. RJ didn't kick it to that man until like the 4th quarter when the game was over. So things like that have to be cleaned up. Like don't treat that man like Jared Jeffries. Like I know Ryan looks like a banker. Like I know Lee looks like a doo-wop singer from the 60s. So that man got a jump shot. He can play. There's no reason why he played 21 minutes. And he seemed to have a pretty decent shot. And only got 3 shots. And I think 3 of those shots were in the 4th quarter. Like, put some respect on my man's name. Reward that man for playing defense, because none of y'all was playing defense the whole night. All right? RJ, IQ. Y'all was getting burnt all night. So reward that man for at least slowing down Garland, because he was the only reason why we even went on a run in that 4th quarter, and because the Cavs stopped scoring for like 2 minutes when he was on Garland. I'm just saying. And Mitchell Robinson, 7 points, 2 rebounds, only 1 offensive. Woo, rough game for Mitch as well. Yeah, you gotta have more than 2 rebounds, dog. You gotta have more than 2 rebounds. And I love Mitch, 3 blocks on the night. I still feel like you gotta pay that man, but you got outplayed by, a bunch of G League rookies. And here's the thing, I get some of it because our point of attack defense was horrible from start to finish. So I get why his rebound numbers were bad at certain stints, because he was helping out a lot. Also, at the same time, you gotta do better, man. You can't give us you can't just give us 2 rebounds on the night. And also, too, a lot of the times we saw 12. Alec Burks had 12 rebounds on one night. It's because Mitch is helping out for the blocks, and the guards are helping out on the rebounds. So if Mitch is going to be in position to be, if Mitch is going to be out of position trying to help out on the defensive end because our guards keep getting burnt all night, the guards, the power forwards, Obi Toppin, only have 4 rebounds on the night. You guys got to help on the boards. You can't just leave it to Mitch Robinson to save you if he's going to be helping all night long. And that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say about that. And in the game, shout out to everybody who's rocking with the KOT show. Shout out to Gregory Lee. Shout out to Justin L. Shout out to Picks for Timmy. Shout out to BD Gamble. I see Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba is young and cheap. Listen, man, if you've been watching KOT show since last summer, I was crying for Mo Bamba. I thought we should have traded Kevin Knox for Mo Bamba, but it's cool because we got Cam Reddish for Kevin Knox. So if we can still get Mo Bamba here, I'll be all right with it. And I'm hoping that we get some Cam Reddish here next season. I'm not sure if we'll actually play him because Tibbs has those Tibbs color glasses on, and he thinks Alec Burks is Michael Jordan and our answer for the future. But I'm hoping that Cam gets some minutes, which is crazy because I actually like Alec Burks' game because I even feel bad criticizing Alec Burks too much because Alec Burks is a good player. So I don't even want to criticize Alec Burks like that, like he's a bum, because he's not. It's just that Tom Thibodeau is just, he doesn't know when to let go of the reins and let the youth them play, and that's all I gotta say about that. But salute to you guys, man. We talked about Julius Randle last game, and if he should stay or if he's not. It's been rumored that Julius Randle asked for a trade. He came out and vehemently said that he did not ask for a trade. He said it. Now, personally, I believe him. Here's why I believe Julius Randle when he says he didn't ask for it. Because Julius Randle, to me, is a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a guy, he's very easy to read. Like, you haven't seen those people when they very easy to read. I don't know if you have a girlfriend or a boy. You know when you ask your girl, yo, what's wrong? And she goes, nothing. But she says nothing, but her whole aura, her whole body language says nothing. Julius Randle is one of them. He's very easy to read. Very easy. So when he says he didn't ask for a trade, I actually believe that he didn't ask for a trade. At the same time, his body language might be saying, I don't want to be here. His body language might be saying he's upset. We already heard an audio of him talking about, he said he feels like he's built for New York, and he was upset that his child had to hear the boos and be escorted from the building, and that's taking its toll of him. And maybe that could be it. Maybe that's part of the reason why he's been upset. Who knows? But I do believe that he did not ask for a trade. Now, do I still want him gone? Absolutely. I want him gone still. I still feel like He's not a leader for this team. And it's not even that he has to be even a leader for his team. He just has to not blow things up. He has to not blow things up, and Tom Thibodeau has to hold him accountable. And that's why I want him to move, and I want Obi to kind of take that spot, good for better or for worse. But I personally don't think he asked for a trade. Shout out to the chat though. If you want to call in and give your opinion on the whole Julius Randle debacle, give your opinion on this game, give your opinion on anything I said, or even want to just talk about something I missed, there is a number at the bottom. All you got to do is call 319-527-6241. That's 319-527-6241. The number is at the bottom of the graphic right there. You can call in and talk to your boy Jealous, all right? First caller up. We already have my guy, the stats and the facts, my man, Big Reaper. Big Reaper, let us know, man, what you want to talk about. Check one, check two. Check one, check two. Is Big Reaper still on the line? Hold on, man. No, you know what? Hold on. Say, I'm sorry, I had the volume down. Maybe that's what the problem was. Say something. Check one, check two, check one. Hello. All right, Fritz, can you hear me? Is Big Reaper still on the line, Fritz? Are we having technical difficulties? All right, I guess while we wait for that, I'm not sure what happened with Fritz or Big Reaper, but I guess we can address some of these comments in the chat in the meantime. All right. Shout out to Agent Super Argo. Says none of the players are at fault, including Julius. This season's loss was on the front office and Tibbs. You're muted. Hey Fritz, are you there? Civil Analyst Reaper said he's muted. Maybe something happened to Fritz. But you know what? I will say this. For Agent Super Argo, none of the players are at fault, including Julius. I feel like there's fault to go around. I definitely feel like there's fault to go around. The front office swung and missed at bringing Kemba Walker here for sure. Julius Randle checked out of the season for a month in December. Like, he absolutely checked out. Randle was playing with it, even if, like, and missed shots aside, right? Because we all had questions whether Randle could hit shots or not. Missed shots aside, he didn't play with the tenacity that he had last season on the defensive end. And I still remember there was an episode where Boris Burke mentioned it. She was watching a Knicks game. I think it might have been Knicks Dallas and Knicks Hawks. And she said, this is the most hustle I've seen out of Julius Randle on the defensive end in his entire career. And it makes you think, man, did he just get his money and mail it in on a defensive end this season? Because you did not see that tenacity for a whole month in December. And that December month was pivotal. Because we were kind of still in the hunt. So I blame, so jump shots come and go, for sure. But I blame him for not having that tenacity in December, and I feel like he picked it up more so in February. And now, and that plus the attitude to me was a huge issue. And to me, it's up to Tibbs to recognize when your player, especially your star player, is not playing well and have the guts to bench him. So that's where I feel like, Tibbs and Julius played a part in that. Now, the front office signed Kemba Walker. That was a miss. Evan Fournier, he did what he was supposed to do. He shot threes. He played make sometime. He did what he was supposed to do. But I feel like the front office. I feel like Julius Randle absolutely has some skin in the game when it comes to the blame. Shout out to I'm not sure where Fritz went. Oh, you're at work. Okay, shout out to Fritz. Yo. Gunshots for Fritz. I didn't know Fritz was at work. Fritz is at work manning the phones, man. You a real MVP. I didn't know that. Yeah, put patch Reaper through, Fritz. Thank you. And let me know if there's any other callers on the line as well. Oh, Reaper jumped off? Okay. I'm sorry. Hey, Reaper, get back on if you have a chance. And Fritz will patch you through. Shout out to my man Fritz, the hardest working man in Knicks mod history. Doing 2 jobs at once. Super chats are welcome as well. It helps keep the things going. I definitely will be hitting up Fritz with some dough from the super chat money. So shout out to my guy Fritz. And thank you for helping us out, man. Adele, let me get the number. All right, cool. The number is. Oh, I'm sorry. The number is not on this screen. I'm gonna switch the graphic so you can see the number. The number is 319-527-6241. That's 319-527-6241. The number is right there at the bottom of the screen. All right. Yeah, man. Fritz is the MVP right now. Fritz definitely the MVP right now. And shout out to Obi Toppin, man. I messed up Obi Toppin's stats. I had him shooting 38% from the field, and he shot 50% from the field. My bad, Obi. I need to put some respect on your name. All right. Gregory Lee says, fault goes all around, but last season we made more with less mostly. Is Tibbs not all, but most? Yeah, man. And like I said, I also blame Tibbs for his lack of experimentation. Even his asinine comments today when he talked about his reasons for starting Alec Burks, he pointed to, Alec having it be the success of the group versus success of Emmanuel Quickly, and then said the group has performed better with Alec Burks. Now, Alec Burks has played well with the group. He has played well with the group. But if you're looking at the eye test, if you're looking at numbers, IQ to me beats Burks in both regard. IQ has a higher net rating than Alec Burks with the groups. He's shooting better than Alec Burks. He has more paint touches. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get. I don't get his obsession. And plus, it's funny. I was getting kind of a little back and forth with somebody on Twitter, and he put up a stat to justify IQ not being able to play point guard, and he says, "Oh, IQ's only played 10 games at point guard, playing more than 30 minutes a game." And it's like, well, Alec Burks has played way more than 10, and IQ's numbers are better. His percentages are better, and his assists are on par. So why not go with IQ just to see if it works out? You can't say 10 games. In statistics, the more games you play, the more data you have to make an assumption of a player. You cannot make an assumption on a player in his career off of 10 games. So it's kind of asinine to say, I saw 10 games, that's it. And then you look at the 10 games numbers, and the 10 games numbers aren't even that bad. Especially when you consider that the 10 games numbers are better than Alec Burks' 10 game numbers. Alec Burks' numbers at 30 minutes a game. So all that made no sense to me, but I digress. Shout out to Fritz. Fritz, I'm not sure if you see any more callers. I'm going to see if I can actually log in, if I'm able to log into the blog talk, because I'm not sure if I can or not. No callers? Okay. So I know somebody said they was calling in. I think Adele. Adele, are you able to call in? Adele Chapman, you able to call in? Justin L says 22% of our cap money next season goes to Burks, Kemba, and Noel. A total of $28.4 million, and D Rose will be making $14.5 million. That's about $43 million between the four next season, and 3 of them couldn't stay on the court this season. That's a good point. Noel's defense has been tremendously underrated this season. Picks for Timmy is on the phone. Shout out to Picks for Timmy.
Hey, yo. What up, Salute J. Ellis?
What's going on, Picks, man? Good to hear you, sir.
Good. Yo, man, look. I can't take another year of Tibbs, bro. Straight up, man, we got to do something, man. Like, I don't know if we got to go down to MSG and get a picket line going or something, man. But, yo, like, let's really talk about it, yo. Like, all the problems, man, that we're seeing right now as far as the lack of chemistry with the team, what's going on with Julius Randle, even today, RJ going through his struggles today. These are all things that could be addressed by coaching, man.
Yeah.
Like, as a coach, bro, like, it's not even just about the X's and O's sometimes. Like, sometimes it's about actually being able to have a pulse on the feelings and the emotions of the squad. You know?
Exactly.
And that's like –
good point.
Bro, like, that's some of the stuff we talk about. My bad, B. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Keep going. You rocking. You cooking.
Yeah, that's what I see, Jay Ellis. That's why we need you on the sidelines, B, because you can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we talking about Quick not having the opportunity to be out there to start tonight, man. That was, like you said, bro, a layup. A layup.
That was a layup.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Quick has been cooking for how long? And I can't help but stop and go back and think about. I think what most Knicks fans been thinking about is the way that we played inside of the Heat game. You know what I'm saying? We're playing the number one team in the East. We finally get the chance to see the kids go out there and cook for a little bit. And then all of that just goes out of the window like it never even happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're seeing the front office down there on the sidelines, walking out the game, high-fiving everybody. Johnny Bryant's on the court, high-fiving everybody.
Facts.
Julius is going out to dinner. Yo, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
What is going on, yo? Like, yo, somebody please, like, tell us. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we get a lot of there's so much to address right now, storyline wise, because you get, you know, the pieces that are going on with the selections that the front office made during the off season. You know what I'm saying? You get what's going on with Tibbs, which I think is really the focal point. And then you get Julius coming back into this year thinking that he's going to be the man, but you get the ascension of R.J. Barrett being a 20-point scorer this year.
Right.
And then you have all of that culminating together, and it's Tibbs' job to be able to manage that, bro.
Yeah.
But this man is dead set on playing vets, bro.
Yeah.
Playing vets, bro. It's like Tibbs is one of those old folks, bro. Like, you would buy him a brand new car, yo, but he still go hop in that Corolla, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he don't care what type of new whip you got, yo. He's wearing the same pants, same shirt every day. He's like, yo, this joint works, bro.
Nah,
I don't need nothing else. Give me my vets, bro.
That's a fact.
I'm like, man.
That is a fact, man. That is a fact. He don't trust none of these new nothing. He's like, oh no, give me my Buick and let's move. Like I'm not gonna. I don't need none of these new features. I don't need no AC.
Bro.
Roll the window down. Like, come on, sir. Like, come on, sir. Like, this is not what we need.
Yo, man. It's so crazy because I think it's like our outlook with Tibbs, right? Like, it makes you forget how bright the future actually is. You know what I'm saying? With Cam and Obi and McBride and Grimes, and these guys are like, yo, like, there's not a lot of teams, you know, that could say that they got kids that can really ball like that. Like, we got kids that can actually hoop.
Yeah, we can.
And if we actually get some chemistry out there with all of them together in some time, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We just need him to get with the program, and that's on the front office. I mean, listen, man, the front office they picked the coach who they picked. And they wanted to kind of win now, but I think they miscalculated on certain things, and that certain thing is how he uses the youth, man. Like he continuously does not like to use the youth for long stretches, and as much of a good teacher as he is, that could be our demise when we have to make decisions on on Cam is my biggest worry next season.
Oh man.
Cam is my biggest worry next season.
Is he even going to get the time? Like, is he even going to get and it's a contract year next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Bro.
Yeah, man. Yo, thanks for calling. Yo, really good to hear you, man. My man was cooking. I hit the gunshots so you couldn't tell for you, Pick.
Salute, yo. I gotta go ahead and start calling in a little bit more. Usually, you know, the family be up, yo. My kids be jumping all over me, yo, so I don't even get the time, yo. But definitely, man, love the show, man. Jay Ellis, y'all cook it up, man. I love the show, bro. Like, please keep chopping it up, bro.
I appreciate you, man. Shout out to my guy Picks for Timmy, man. Shout out to my guy Picks. Good to hear from you, man. Good to hear from you. Finally came in. And Picks be rolling hard, yo. Picks for Timmy be rolling hard for KOT for sure, yo. I really appreciate it. All right, yo, I had a point that I wanted to mention, and I had it in my head, and it escaped me. It escaped me for a second. Hopefully I find that thought again. But if we don't have Tibbs, man, which I know we're gonna have Tibbs, but I really want to make the call for Mike Woodson. I feel like Mike Woodson. I know people talk about Johnny Bryant. I like Johnny Bryant as well, but I want Mike Woodson to be the next head coach, man. Like, just call him and tell him, come back, son. Come back home. Come back home. I feel like he has his personality to deal with all these guys and all these characters. Like Picks with Timmy said, he can manage not just the game, but also attitudes and personalities. I want to bring back Mike Woodson next season. That would be my ideal. And I feel like he's gonna have more of a pulse for the kids, for sure. Oh, okay. We got 3 callers up. All right, shout out to the callers, man. Next caller up, we got Big Reaper. Big Reaper, let us know what you want to talk about, sir.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Thanks for taking my call. Yo, I feel Picks for Timmy because, like, during the day, normally don't call during the day because, you know, I got 3 kids and they all be up screaming. So if you start hearing some crazy loud noises, you can just hang up.
That gang.
But, like, but, yeah, like, for real, like, with Tibbs, you guys already know how I feel about him. It's not even really, for me, he's not really just the X's and O's. I just think he's a bad leader. And I had no idea until this year, until I kind of really saw everything. And regarding that, the one thing I noticed recently, if you guys notice, I think it was a few games ago, where all of a sudden when they come in from timeouts, everybody who's coming in dap up. They're trying to dap each other up. Like Tibbs tried to dap them all up. He never really used to do that before, you know. Mm-hmm. It seems like somebody told him, hey, you need to start doing more stuff to kind of like help, you know, with the camaraderie and like the chemistry of the team. And also I think that it kind of signifies that there's something really going on with the team. Like there's a split in the locker room.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too was like after that Bulls game, with everything that came out after that, they must have had a huge meeting or something. especially given the fact that they decided to play Julius that Hornets game. If you looked at Julius on the defensive end, he wasn't even trying. It was like a lot of games he was playing at the Garden this year where he just wasn't even really making an effort.
Right.
And like what you were saying earlier with Julius, you can tell when he's not trying, when he's not even trying to give an effort, because he's kind of that kind of guy. He's got the body language where you can tell his attention by his body language.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of what that looked like when he was playing that Hornets game. And I think they had a huge meeting or something, and it seems like the rest of the team, honestly, it felt like on the defensive end, the whole team kind of checked out a little bit. RJ sort of checked out a little bit on the defensive end, and obviously he was definitely checked out today. But RJ has been struggling. Like he's been struggling since he decided to take over. Well, not since he decided, but since he started asserting himself a little more in the offensive end. Like this is weeks ago, right? He really started trailing off on the defensive end, and it's kind of crazy because right before then I was talking about how he's become this really good two-way player, and then right off the bat he's been having a stretch of really bad defensive games.
Yeah.
And in terms of playmaking, you were talking about before. Look, I mean, Julius Randle, the fact that he's good enough to draw a double team and he kicks it out to the three-point line, that's good in everything. But
that's his value. Yeah.
like you said, you notice he doesn't like. In terms of playmaking, like IQ and RJ are better playmakers because they like find people at the rim. If you notice, they're like the only two guys on the team that can find people easy baskets. I think people forget like playmaking is finding your teammates easy basket, not finding them shots that like 30 feet away. Not everyone can shoot a shot that's like, I'm sorry, not 30 feet, maybe 24 feet away. Not everyone can hit shots, from the three-point line. The mark of a really good playmaker is getting them easy baskets at the rim, easy layups, and we only got two guys that can do that.
Yep.
And so Julius is not one of them. I think this year I've only seen him like get maybe I'm probably wrong, but I've only seen him get someone one shot at the rim this year. So I mean that kind of.
It's been more than one, but you're not far off with your assessment. It's been like
it's very rare.
Yeah, it's like five or it's like you know what I'm saying.
I've seen it only once this year. Yeah. I guess that's why I'm wrong. I've only seen it once.
Five is still not
if you see
a big number from one, so it's not like it's like a huge difference. But yeah,
for the whole season, right? For the whole season, that's crazy. So, but if you see with IQ, even now with Obi, with RJ. They get someone one shot at the rim like every game. Yeah. Like now that's playmaking. I think people get like confused. I mean, like, look, he's a very talented dude. 2010 and 5, and the reason why that 2010 and 5 doesn't mean anything because he doesn't have the defense, and then he doesn't have the efficiency. Giannis is shooting 52% from the field. Julius is shooting 41%. Joker's shooting 57%, and Julius is shooting 41%. That's like, you're talking about a 16% points difference. Like, Julius this whole year, if you look at one-on-one matchups, he's like minus, I think if he's basically a negative on the court. His matchups are consistently more efficient than he is, and it's like I think it's at least 1% more efficient than he is on average for the season. So, and that's not even if you look at the net rating, it's even worse. But if you look at his one-on-one matchup, he's I think he's about 1% less efficient than his opponents all the time. So it's just, he's not even really as good as people make it seem like he is. But in terms of Tibbs, I mean, I've said enough about that. The front office, they screwed up. Like, they leaned on the analytics team for Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, but like, I think a lot of times it just depends so much on those net ratings, those team stats. Mm-hmm. But if you kind of dig into individual stats, they're also like minus players. And you kind of tend to find out if you look at their individual stats, like as far as their matchups, and then you compare it to the net rating, you kind of start to realize the teams are carrying them. They're not actually, and if you look at it, it probably drags on the team. And so it's like for them to, because at least that's what I heard. The analytics were the guys that kind of came to the front office with the idea, and that's why they went with it. But it was just a bad idea, and for the fact that that's what they're, I mean, at the end of the day, the buck stops with the Leon Rose, and he hired them, and they screwed up and gave him bad advice. So it is what it is. But
Yeah.
I do hope they do the right thing and make some changes this year, man. Because I don't know what they're going to do next year. Like I said, if they bring back Tibbs next year, they think they're going to have a fourth year. That's not going to happen. They're not getting a fourth year, and it's just only because of the fact that it's going to be 4 years in. So
Yeah,
well,
it's
but
funny.
That's pretty much all I got, man.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate you, Reaper. Thanks for calling in.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I do feel like the moment you do fire the coach, I feel like the timeline speeds up. Whereas, like, you have one more coach before you get fired. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll say this too. My biggest fear with firing the coach, not that I want to keep him, but my biggest fear of firing the coach is RJ not seeing a stable franchise, because RJ at this point, from what I'm seeing, still kind of backs Thibodeau, and if Thibodeau gets moved and RJ's still here, he might see that as a sign like things ain't going right or whatever. So I don't know. So you might have to take care of signing RJ for an extension before you even do something like that. If we do decide to do that, you know what I'm saying? But I digress. All right, next caller up, we got our guy Chapman from Queens. Chapman, let us know what you want to talk about, man.
Hey, what's up, man? It's always a pleasure to just kick it with you, man, and just mad love. Period.
Absolutely.
You know how we do.
Absolutely. Salute to you, man.
Hey, let's see, man. You ever seen that movie Wolverine when he's in Japan and everybody's just shooting arrows? That reminds me of Tibbs taking all the arrows for Julius on defense, bro.
I mean, he's an easy way to change that. Sub him out.
Yeah, well, that is true. That is true. Let's see. All right. Hypothetical question.
Okay.
What value would you give RJ? If you decide, you know what, I'm just going to blow it all up. Well, obviously, I don't think that's what you would do, but hypothetically, just two guys talking.
Just two guys talking. Nobody here, just us two.
No, let's see. Let's see. What do you think? It would be worth the squeeze or no? If we were to trade RJ?
Trade RJ? I'm not trading RJ at this point.
I'm just saying.
I'm not.
What do you think his value would be?
Oh, you think his value would be to trade RJ? I mean,
no. What? I'm just more asking what his value would be.
If we were to trade RJ, what would it be? That's a hard question to ask on the fly. I mean, I guess it would be a few firsts. It would either be a few firsts or another promising young player in exchange. That's the way I would look at it. If that was to happen, but I definitely wouldn't do that. I would
just curious.
I would try to, I would try to personally put shooters around RJ, if anything, since he likes to go to the hole so much. And especially having a stretch 5 wrong and a stretch 4 and then go that way, a la the LeBron James-ish mode. Shout out to all the dads out here who's
Yo, bro. Hey, listen, man. I wanted to call earlier, but my son, just like a couple other callers, bro. Kids take. Just when you want to do something doesn't mean you can do it, because they're all around and jumping on you, and they need that love, bro. But
I feel you.
Yeah, just wanted to say what's up, and let's see, 1, 2. I really don't know what we're gonna do. I was just I'm like, all right, why not? What would happen if we would blow it all up? Blowing it all up would be probably just RJ. Everything else is just like,
yeah. I mean,
not established pieces. So
Right. Like, yeah, I'm not blowing it all up. And here's the thing: we have so many young guys here. There's nothing to really blow all up. You know what I mean? Like, we have young pieces here. We just need to. Blowing up for us is like moving Randle, Evan, and Burks.
And Noel.
And Noel. And Noel for picks and young pieces. That's blowing it up. It's for us. But we still at that point still have a lot of our core. We can still have Obi, Grimes, McBride, Quickly. So blowing it up is not, it's not super crazy for me. You know?
You think our draft picks are worth anything, man? Like, or is it just might as well draft and stash and keep it moving, or
I mean,
just package them?
It depends on if you package them for some of the stuff, then it could be worth something. But I know we have the Dallas pick still in our grasp, but Dallas is still making the playoffs, so it's not going to be super high first round. But our draft picks might be worth something because our team still isn't really good all the way, so it still might be worth something. But thanks for calling in. I'm gonna get to the next caller. I appreciate you, sir.
No, definitely, man. Just wanted to kick it with you for a little bit.
Absolutely.
And my son's in the closet now.
All right. Yeah, shout out to your son, man. Tell him grab an RJ jersey from the closet. All right. All right. Salute to you, man. Next caller up, we got our guy Joseph from NY.
Hello, Jay. I've been watching New York Knickerbockers and basketball from 1967, and I just like to share a few observations.
Sure.
I hope that there may be some enlightenment in it. One of the things, many times, like shows like yours, fans are always talking about trading this individual. This person's not good. What is our objective? To win a championship.
Correct.
To win a championship is like building a house. You have to first have a foundation. You also must know the materials necessary and the method of building the house. So what's the foundation for the Knicks? Well, the Knicks have an established foundation. They still haven't figured out what materials. They hired a coach that is generally licensed veterans, but they then get a lot of young players.
Right.
And this was an emotional move on the part of Rose because he has a connection with Thibodeau. And so
I agree.
For the Knicks to be good, look at teams like Boston, the Grizzlies. These teams are developing young players with an excellent coach. And one of the foundations of a basketball team is defense. And Thiz was supposed to be known for defense, but he hasn't come through. Further, one of the things that he does do is that he is partial to certain players, and his lack of disciplining or directing Julius is very counterproductive.
Yeah.
To me, my perspective is really his ability is really as an assistant defensive coach, and that's what he was in Boston, where he could concentrate on that.
I agree.
I think I look at him, and he doesn't know how to manage a game proficiently. He has his partiality, how he's partial. His in-game management is off. The young people, he kind of, some of them he mistreats like Obi,
Mm-hmm.
And so first we need to establish what type of system, what goal, first of all, what goal we have is championship. How are we going to get there? Well, how are you going to get there? Well, you have young players. And one of the things, too, that Gibbs got to know, he can't identify the skill sets of the players have. A lot of people say trade Burks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, because they have him at point guard. He's not a point guard.
No, he's not.
He is a guy that comes off the bench when your team is not doing well, and then you need a spark, you bring him in. Same thing with IQ. He's placing IQ in a position of a point guard, and he's done fairly well, but he's not a point guard. He's a Lou Williams type of player. He comes in. I would like to see McBride and Grimes, where you would increase your offense. And the only point guard you have there other than Rose that has played point guard is McBride. When I watch IQ, one of the things you see when he gets the ball, he's running down, there are guys on the wings and he doesn't even pass to them. He's looking to get in the middle. He's looking to see if his shot's over. If he doesn't have a shot, then he'll pass the ball. He'll get the ball back, and then he shoots. And this is on Fizz because he's placing people out of their position. So what they need to do, what do they need to do? Well, first of all, they need to identify these players' skill sets and appropriately put them where Fizz has to go because he is not a head coach. He is a defensive assistant. And though he's like you're promoting a sous chef to a five-star restaurant, he is not a great chef. He's a sous chef. But because Leon Rose had a connection with him, I don't demonize him. It's just that that's the reality. Now, what type of coach do you want? Well, I like what Boston's coach is doing. I like what Grizzlies coach is doing. They're young. They're look at Grizzlies.
Yeah,
they're winning without John Morant.
Crazy.
They're winning without John Morant.
They're balling without Morant. They're balling without Morant.
Balling without John Morant because they understood about basketball. Basketball is a simple game. I remember when the Knicks won their championships, it was about the open man. Finding who is hot, setting up plays and so forth, and everyone could, at least to some degree, handle the ball and hit the jump shot. But today, what we're having too, as much as I like Curry, I love Curry, but what's happening in the NBA today is that you got a lot of players coming in, shoot three-pointers, and not utilizing, for instance, the mid-range shot.
Right.
A lot of players, when they go to the rim, they go to the rim. They don't stop and take a jump shot like DeRozan. DeRozan has shown the beauty of half-court shooting. And so a great team, a good team, has a balance of both. You can't just come down and take a three-point shot, but a lot of players are doing that, and a lot of fans don't understand. The NBA today is for millennials who are used to, what's that, NBA Y2K? Yeah. They're used to that scoring. The NBA has designed to that. And I like to see some defense. I like to see the defense. Right. And one of the things I like, didn't you like the change when they didn't have these guys like, what's his name, Harden, even IQ to some degree, and Trae Young, where they're initiating an offensive move and the defensive players is not getting credit for having a good position? Didn't you notice how the NBA at least modified that, and it's made the game a little bit, contesting, because today in sports, offense is being utilized a lot, even in football or baseball. Offense, because young people, that's basically enough. You don't hear them talking about defense as much as they talk about offense, and they talk about defensive scheme, but guys don't know how to defend their man one-on-one. You have no center to block, consistently block. Most of you stretch fours.
Yeah, you need both.
The game has changed.
You need both. Yeah,
you need both. But more important than skill set, or just as important, is the mentality that some of these players have. It's about being smart, not just getting an athletic player, but a smart player, that's smart and wants to work. And that's why when we look at Giannis, it's a beautiful thing to see this man progress and learn skills, players that develop skills. When we see Julius doesn't play defense. We see LeBron. They talk about LeBron getting 30 points a game. Yeah, if I played half court, I get 30 points a game too. The man doesn't play defense except once in a while. So when I'm looking at the game, it's nice to see the plays. There are a lot of athletics and so forth. But I like the beauty of some defense. Absolutely. I like the beauty of moving the ball. And that's the type of team that Knicks should have. Because the Knicks are the championship, move the ball. These teams. And as far as Woodson was a good coach. But let me just say this, and I'm not putting him down or anything. He was a good coach. But even in Atlanta, he was still an ISO coach with Melo and so forth. I want a coach that moves. Everybody's in the play. Everybody's in the play. Now, we know some will be dominant, but more people are in the play, cut screens, and also smart enough to know how to. For instance, some of these guys, Clyde brings it out so beautiful. Like, for instance,
Good point.
if your man's on the baseline, don't let him have the baseline.
Right, yeah.
And also, if you have the ball, don't go to the sideline. That's simple stuff. I mean, come on.
Good point.
So it's a pleasure talking to you, Jay.
All
You
right.
have anything to ask me? Because I've been on
No,
shows.
yeah.
I've been invited. I used to go on shows like FAN. I was invited on shows at Rockefeller Center with, I forgot the name, old host, WLIB, back in the days in the 80s and 80s. I used to go on the shows. I remember when Hubie Brown was
OG.
first.
All right, that's what's up.
So, yeah, I remember Hubie Brown came to the Knicks and they asked me and one of the fans, her name was Michelle Musler. She used to have a seat behind her. She's passed away. And they asked us, what do you think about Hubie? Well, I said, we said that in 3 years or 4 years he'll be fired, but he'll bring some defense. And what you call it is a Hubie Brown clone.
Right.
He's Tom Thibodeau, in some ways, is a Hubie Brown. He is demanding, but he's partial, and you can't have that. And as far as Julius is concerned, he has to go. Julius has to go.
He has to go, man. Yeah.
He has to go. Got to go. And you have a few veterans, but you got to let these young boys play, but you got to get another coach.
Yeah,
and this year, Leon Rose, see, right now, Thibodeau's getting the heat. And Leon Rose and did a nice job at the draft. But why you hire a guy that, why you hire food for a seafood restaurant and then hire a guy that does barbecue? That's Thibodeau's the barbecue guy. The plays that he has, he's not playing young persons. He was not the type of coach to develop young players.
I agree.
But I enjoy your show. And how is Raw doing?
Raw is good, man. Raw doesn't do his weekends is for him, and he's like a religious guy, so he's not available for the weekends and certain days. Yeah, but Raw is good, man. He'll be back for sure.
Well, you tell Raw, I like a lot of his tapes, but when he says that Tim's a good coach, I want him to tell me what qualifies, because coaching is more than see what happens with the fans here is that we had so many bad coaches like Fizdale and so forth. Then when Thibodeau came, he had some order. Yeah. He seemed to know what he was doing.
Exactly.
And so they set that because in contrast to what he had. But you don't set that. You get the best. You don't get just get this. But I like listening to the fans. They all have their point of view. And I appreciate you very much. Maybe I'll call sometime in the future and share what little things I know.
All right.
Thank you for your patience and kindness.
All right. Salute to you, Joseph, man.
Well,
Gunshots with man Joseph, man. Called through with the facts. And you are right about Woodson, man. You were right about I do remember Woodson being super ISO heavy and leaning on Melo when he was here a lot. And I remember him having press conferences talking about why not give your ball to the best player in a situation. So all good points, man. All good points. And I do like that that comparison of a sous chef and you got barbecue ingredients. I do like that comparison because the front office has done a lot of good. They've gotten a lot of good players here, and you even heard me talk about the reason why I even want to move Alec Burks is not because Alec Burks is a bad player, is that I feel like Tibbs is going to be here, and he's going to overuse him, and he's going to be using him in spaces and at times when he shouldn't be used. And that's the biggest problem. Like, if I can, like, Jedi mind trick Tibbs to move to, not play Burks and keep him and play him his proper role, I'll be perfectly fine with Burks being here. Like, perfectly fine. It's just that this coach is just, I don't know. This coach, I don't know. I don't even know what to think of this coach, man. But all good points from my man, Joseph. Thanks for calling in. And you also want to talk about something else too. About the point guard situations. Do we have any more? First of all, do we have any more callers left, Fritz? No more callers? All right, cool. The caller's smarter than Tibbs. Yeah. Nah, for sure. For sure. One thing I want to ask you guys is, and I was watching Ian Begley, and he was talking a little bit about the Jalen Brunson situation. We already know Jalen Brunson is one of these guards who's going to be available in the offseason. Are you guys with Quickly playing the way he is, right? And you know Quickly is not 100% a pure point guard. He's like a scoring guard. Today was a good example of that, you know? Like, Quickly gave you 7 assists. Right? To me, still a better option at point guard than Alec Burks. By far, to me. Because what do point guards do? What do guards do? They create open shots for other players. And I've been saying it all along. He's created more open shots than anybody else this season. And in a more variety of ways, too. And that's been important since Derrick Rose hasn't even been available. But I digress. With Quickly emerging, right, and stepping up his play, not a pure point guard, but still a better point guard than he was beginning of the year. Do you guys still want to bring in Jalen Brunson for $20 million a year? Like, how high are you guys still on that? Because we still have Derrick Rose here, and I know he's kind of forgotten, man. We still have Derrick Rose here, and once he's back next season, I'm not sure how many games he's going to play, but he might play more games than he did this season. We still have Derrick Rose here. We still have McBride here, who hasn't really got a full shot. And we still have Quickly, who can play point guard as well. So do you feel like you would take that $20 million and give it to Jalen Brunson, knowing you have Mitchell Robinson, who you might want to bring back? You can chime in on Brunson. Picks for Timmy says not at all. SB El Bay says I love IQ, but he doesn't get all the way to the basket. He doesn't get all the way to. He's gone all the way to the basket more times than not in the second half of the season, and he's been in the paint more. So, but I get it. It's still not a huge. He's not getting to the basket as much as D Rose was back in the day, or nothing like that. But a lot better this season, a lot better in his run too. Shout out to BKNY. Gunshots to you. Says a 5 super chat says, give IQ the starting job. Give Obi the starting job. No Jalen Brunson, please. Okay. JT Reddick gives a 499 super chat and says, yeah. Salute to the Coyote. I hate the way they froze out Ryan. He had some good open looks in the third that could have helped instead of chucking. Yeah, I didn't like that at all, man. I didn't like that. And that's like the good and bad with RJ and IQ. Like, they both can get tunnel vision sometimes. Even though they both have the ability to break down the defense and create open shots for people. And IQ had it cooking in the third quarter, too, for a stint. But they both looked off Ryan when he was wide open a few times. And Ryan can shoot. So, I don't know. I didn't get that. But I digress. Thank you for the super chat, though. It's gonna help a lot. Nick Yak says, quickly shooting 39% and 34 from 3, averaging 3 assists in 30 minutes. Give me a break. Brunson shooting 50% with 4 assists with Doncic. 4 assists with Doncic. Get this man. So Nick Yak is for bringing in Brunson. Now I feel you if that's what your take is. I guess, how many short guards do you want on this roster? You know what I mean? How many short guards do you want on this roster? I think we're going to run into a certain problem. I guess that's my thing about it. And also, Quickly can get better. Quickly can get better. Like his March numbers, I think I actually have him. He's averaging, 16 points a game. Quickly has been shooting better since he's been thinking less. I'll say that. Quickly has been shooting better since he's been thinking less. So he's been shooting in March like 47% from the field, 42% from three, and that number should be at 16%, 16 points per game now. So he had a dip all season, but he's been on fire in March. So you hoping he increases that production. You know what I'm saying? Now I get it though. You feel like, I mean, it's still a solid point. I'm not knocking your point though, Nick Yak, because he's more proven and he's done that for long periods of time, and that counts. So definitely consider that. So I'm not saying that your point is invalid. All right? Because you do have a point. All right, cool. He says, I want Deuce to have the keys at point guard. And that's the other part I'm talking about, Cully. If you bring in Brunson with Quickly here, with Alec Burks, with Derrick Rose, McBride is at the bottom of the bench. He's not seeing anything. And I'm also 3 IQ should be a good starter. I agree. Yeah. He might be a good. I'm not all the way down on IQ. I still have hope IQ could do something. Fritz, I know Fritz says you want to call in. Fritz, let us know what you want to talk about, man. I know you want to chime in on this Brunson topic.
Oh, hey, thanks, JL.
What's going on?
I think just the Knicks. Yeah, I think just the Knicks are just in a tough situation where they can't like put all their eggs in one basket because everything's just been failing. Like every time they ever like this is the guy. It just doesn't. I think they're gonna come in with like some options and just let the point guards duke it out and see who come out to the top. So I think Brunson is one of the guys going to have in, but I don't think they're just going to Brunson's going to fix everything.
Right.
I don't even think Brunson's that great of a passer.
Yeah, he's
Brunson's
more like a steady
scorer.
person. He's like a steady guy. IQ's more kind of explosive. Kind of like from when I was talking about when I compare IQ to McBride. Like, McBride is steadier. And McBride is going to make the right pass like 97% of the time. But IQ creates advantages more often than those guys. But he just doesn't pass. He just doesn't move the ball all the time after he creates the advantage.
Yeah. I see them. I said the two people they're going to get this summer. I said they're going to get Brunson. They're going to get Jones. Trey Jones is just going to be the double. It says a double message. Actually, Trey Jones is actually a pretty rated passer, even though he's not like he doesn't get big minutes. Also, that puts the pressure on New Orleans for Zion. So I think those are the two you'll see.
You say you think you're going to see Trey Jones
and Brunson are the two, and McBride be the third point guard. And I don't think IQ would be considered point guard at that point.
It depends. I feel like that still depends on that still depends on Tom. That still depends on Tom if Tom's going to be here or not. Tom is still giving him well, he'll have him if Derrick Rose is here. That's the thing. If I think he means Tyus Jones, right? I don't think he means Trey Jones.
Trey is from San Antonio. Tyus is the younger brother. Tyus the youngest brother, but the one from
you talking about the dude? I think my bad. I thought you meant Tyus too, the dude from the Grizzlies.
No, I'm talking about Trey from San Antonio.
Oh, you talking about Trey from San Antonio? Oh, yo, shout out to Ghetto
Yeah.
Clownfish. I thought he was talking about Tyus Jones too. I just assumed because
Yeah. And they're brothers, but yeah, it's not the one that I don't think he's the one that played with RJ though.
right, because everybody knows like Tyus the thing. Joseph was talking about the Grizzlies earlier, and Tyus has been, he's been the point guard for that Grizzlies team, and that Grizzlies team is still moving. They were like 20 and what are they? 20 wins, 2 losses without
Got a good
Ja.
record with them.
Yes, it's crazy. So that's why I feel like maybe you look at that option as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think it's gonna be because if you just stack the point guard position, you're pushing out IQ. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. Colin Sexton is still. I see somebody say Colin Sexton. You know I mentioned Colin Sexton a lot here, and they just gave Garland the bag, so you already know somebody else gets the bag. It's more likely somebody else gets the axe. That's the way it works. Shout out to BKNY gets a $5 super chat. Says lineups for next season: first unit IQ RJ Cam, Obi Mitch, or Mo Bamba. Second unit D Rose, Deuce Grimes, new power forward Sims. D Rose, Deuce Grimes, new power forward Sims. I mean, I'm kind of with it. My thing is, what are we getting for our, I mean, that's to be determined because I'm assuming you're trading Julius Randle here in this scenario. What are we getting back for Julius Randle? I mean, that's something to think about. You know what I mean? Because are we getting another point guard? Are we getting a wing? Getting some picks to package for later? Like, I feel like if we move Julius Randle, we should be getting something of significance somewhere. All right? But thank you for the super chat, BKNY. Nick X says, I want quickly, not a point guard off the bench. Same as Sims, love him, but not a starter at 6'9" who can't shoot. Yeah, I like Sims too. Sims has some good games. I think he'll be fine though. But I still I said it last year. I said it to Roy earlier. If I can get Mo Bamba over Sims, I'll do that. Shout out to Harlem 9000 who sends a $4.99 super chat. He says, "Yo, Knicks are trash this year, but the show has been on point since the jump." I appreciate you, Harlem. I super appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for the compliment. We try to keep this. We try to keep this show moving. We try to keep it good or bad. We try to keep the content good, and hopefully in the off season, we'll still have some nice stuff to talk about for you guys. We still haven't really even touched on the draft really, so I already know that's coming. So shout out to you guys and thank you for all the support for real. All right, what do you think is a realistic return for Randle? That's the tough thing. I seen Raw talk about getting some expiring deals. It would be nice to get some expiring deals and some picks. Some picks that we can package and use for later. At least expiring deals in a young contract. Expiring deals, young contract, and a pick. Some picks. That's what I would like. I'm not sure how other teams see him. You know, he still averages 20, 10, and 5, but his percentages are abysmal. So maybe use like a trouble player thing. Maybe you do John Wall, who has, not as much contract left, and try to get some picks with that as well. Maybe you try to do something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this point. But I would hope he would get whatever we get some picks somewhere. Because he still is a 2010 and a 5 player. And you hope that the team just kind of banks on the fact that he's going to turn it around in a smaller market. Because it's obvious that I still feel like Julius Randle has talent to have 20-10-5 in the down year. You're a talented dude, but his just emotions kind of take over, and you just hope that he's able to recapture some of that in a smaller market. To me, Randle for Collins and a couple of second rounders, not going to get much more than that. Yeah, Collins, I can see that because Collins and kind of have been beefing with Atlanta. I would still try to get a first out of that, personally. Knick, yeah, Garland was everything we're dreaming of. Yeah. I keep saying I've been saying I've considered wanting Garland for a while. I love Garland's game. I thought his 3-point shooting, his passing was going to translate, and I felt like him being second fiddle to Collin was holding him back. I still remember people calling me crazy for wanting Garland a couple of years ago, and I'm like, I was right. I was definitely right for wanting him, and that's not a knock on RJ. I still like RJ, but I was not wrong on Garland. Definitely wasn't. That man killed us today. Julius says for a chopped cheese. Picture Timmy sending a shot to Julius. Oh man. All right, man. You know what? That's our show. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we should have Raw and Ryan G tomorrow, I believe. Hopefully that is the case. Also, Ryan G, you should be premiering Ryan G's Lights. Shout out to Ryan. Thank you guys for the super chat, man. I got Ryan G a light a while ago, and then he said he was having problems with his computer and he needed enough extra USB port to plug the light in. And I finally got him the USB port so he could plug the light in. So hopefully you actually see Ryan G's face tomorrow. All right. And thank you for Stan, who was like, yo, get Ryan G a light because we can't see him. Like, I agree. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Stan. If we get Obama, it's because we don't have Mitch. Yeah, you're most likely right. You're most likely right, Gregory Lee. We still don't know what's going to happen with Mitch. He's still. You already know the teams are after him. And Mitch has had a pretty bad game today, but that's not indicative of what Mitch has done. He saved us a lot of time with his offensive rebounds alone. He had a few 8 offensive rebound games, which is phenomenal. Mitch still needs to work on his defensive rebounding, though. That's still kind of been a weakness for Mitch. But hopefully we're still able to get Mitch back. In my fantasy brain, we get Mitch and Obama, but that's probably not going to happen. You know what I mean? But that's just me. That's me in my fantasy brain. All right. So that is our show. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys. Only have 4 games left to the season. Next one being tomorrow. Last game of the season is Sunday, man. Last game of the season is Sunday. So you already know what it is. You can follow us on all social media. That is the KLT Show on Twitter, the Knick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Knick of Time Show on Facebook. Also, you can listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Also helps if you leave good reviews on those platforms as well. Helps us out. Get your merch, your KLT merch at thenickoftimeshow.com. You can click on catalog in that section. You get your blue and orange snapbacks and your black and white snapbacks as well. Thank you guys for supporting our show. Y'all hear all 82 gang, shout out to you guys, all 82. Replaying gang, shout out to you guys too. Next game will be tomorrow. And yep. That is our show though. And guess what? As always, guys.
Shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here, these YouTube streets. That is our show. We out of here. Peace.